Good morning, everyone. So I have a word for you today. It's been a while since I've come up, on here to give a word, and my channels are mainly for inspiration and to teach the word and to uplift people. Uh, Forgive that sound in the background. That's my washer going. It's rather loud, but I have to get this word out. So, with that being said, the word of God today, from the word from God that he gave me, and he actually downloaded this through a message I got from somebody else, and it wasn't about this exact situation, but it was a message. And as I was reading the message from this person, Abba Father downloaded this message to me, but it had nothing to do with the message itself. So sometimes it happens that way, where I won't get a message for weeks or days or what have you, and or even a month, and then all of a sudden he'll give me 3 or 4 or 5 of them in a row. So today I only have this one. So he gave me some scriptures. Proverbs 29:25, Galatians 1:10, Psalms 118:6, Proverbs 29:25. I have a lot more. First Thessalonians 2:4, 1 Corinthians 4:3-4, and of course, as I said before, Psalm 118:6, and I think I said 1 Corinthians 3-4 already. So, and then Philippians 4:6-7. Okay, so, and then we've also have John 4:18 and 1 Peter 3:14. So I'm just going to read a couple of these. 1 Peter 3:14, have no fear of them, nor be troubled. 1 John 4:18, perfect love drives out fear. Philippians 4:6-7, instructs us not to be anxious about anything, but bring everything to God, and his promises of peace guards us and guards our heart. So there's a lot in this message, but these are just the scriptures I got for this message. Like I said, you want to read through the rest of these scriptures yourself. But I got these scriptures for this message. Not that they don't all go perfectly with this message, but these are the scriptures I got. Okay. So, with that being said, a few of these scriptures may be a confirmation to others. Some of these scriptures may be a confirmation to some people, and others may be a confirmation to others. So, with that being said, as I was on this, reading my emails today, this morning, I'm reading about what this person left me, the email this person left me, or the message rather. And as I'm getting ready to respond, the Lord tells me not to respond, to just wait and pray. Of course, with some messages, you have to pray. With most messages, you have to pray before you respond, because you don't want to respond to them the wrong way. Well, with that being said, this person in the email was just being a little bit snarky, so to speak, smart alecky, so to speak, about a certain thing I had taught about, and I had given a word about. And I thought, okay, I know that the enemy is going to be disturbed by this, and the enemy's not going to like it, so the enemy's going to fight back any way they can, right? Any way he can. So with that being said, the Lord basically told me not to respond to this person and to just block this person instead. Because at that point, the Lord was like, don't waste your pearls on swine. You know, he was basically saying, this is the enemy, and do not, try to talk to this person because it's just going to waste your time. Basically, it's what the Lord said. So, with that being said, I backed off. But during this whole message that was sent, the Lord downloaded this message to me. And this is the message. Do not worry about what other people think of you. Do not worry about their assumptions of you. It's what God says and what God matters. And that you're doing the work of the Father, or that you're doing what Abba Father is telling you to do. Therefore, anybody else's opinions of you and what you're doing, any judgmental or religious opinions of what you are doing for the Lord and with the Lord and through the Lord, is no one else's business except for God and you. And the biggest part of this message is to not worry about what other people think of you, because other people aren't in a relationship with God like you are. They don't know what God is telling you to do and how to do things, or where to do them. They don't understand, and all people want to do is be judgmental of you and make assumptions that aren't true without asking, about whys. And the other thing that the Lord is saying here is that it doesn't matter what they think. It doesn't matter why they think. They don't need to know why or how you're doing it. They don't need to know. They don't need to know why you're, spending half of your money on giving it to other people to bless them. They don't need to know why you're buying extra food to bless those in need. They don't need to know why you're buying extra clothes to bless those who don't have any, with your money. Or they don't need to know what you're doing with your life, period. because people are nosy and judgmental and have religious spirits, and they do not need to know your business. Because it doesn't matter what they think, because their judgmental and religious spirits have already assumed what they want to assume, regardless of whether they know what, why, and how you're doing something, or for the reason. God says it's no one else's business but yours and His as to why you are doing something a certain way. People do not need to know your business. People do not need to know why or how you're doing it. Of course, you can tell them, hey, I do this for God. But they're still going to assume. This is why He says, do not waste your pearls on swine. People don't need to know your business. Keep quiet and just do what you do for the Lord, and that's it, period. With that being said, that was your message. I gave you the scriptures. You have a good day. Be blessed.